We're back with renowned trial lawyer who's represented high-profile clients like Mike Tyson, Hunter Biden, and more. Mark Geragos, thank you so much for being here. You know, we've been talking about this case for a while now. Nancy Liu just doing a story about how shocking things were, the Buzzard case. Perhaps the most surprising development in an already surprising case, prosecutors are not going to seek the death penalty for Ashlee Buzzard. Instead, they intend to pursue a sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole for the 40-year-old. Either way, if convicted, she'll be behind bars for years. What do you think about this?
Well, I think in California, where I practice predominantly, it's usually the smart move. There is a tendency to believe amongst prosecutors that at this point in California, if you go for the death penalty, the jurors might react strongly to reject it. I mean, that just is the reality, which is somewhat ironic because the defense for many years complained about the death penalty as basically weeding out pro-defense jurors and kind of acclimating the jury to be pro-law enforcement. And it's kind of flipped on its head. So I understand it, and I think jurors are loath in California to give the death penalty, and so it makes sense to me.
Does the fact that the victim, is related to her mother and it's her mother in this case, how will that play into all of this? And could she see a less severe or more severe punishment?
Well, I think part of the problem is with a case like this, even veteran criminal defense lawyers that I know are repulsed by the accusations. And it's a very difficult case to get your head around if what the prosecution alleges is true. And that is, no matter that enhanced degree of trust between a mother and a daughter, the maternal bond, this shakes that belief, that kind of that primordial urge to the core. And so that is a monstrous, monstrous problem. And the allegation, frankly, is monstrous. I think part of the bigger problem is for the defense and frankly for the prosecution is how do they tie this together? When I first heard about this, I thought that this was a custody dispute gone awry, which you often see in these kinds of situations. But obviously this did go awry, and I don't want to prejudge it. I don't know more about the facts. I think it is very strange, so to speak, that there was no arrest made once the prosecution knew that she had traveled basically to the border of Utah and back. And I suppose they were waiting for the body, but I've seen many cases in California in the last 10 years with homicides being prosecuted with no body.
Right. Great point. The sheriff in Santa Barbara County called this cold-blooded, criminally sophisticated premeditation and heartlessness that went into planning, and ruthlessness went into committing the crime. This is going to be a tough one to defend.
Well, I think if on the facts, if they've got the facts to tie this together, yes, it's a very tough case to defend, and there will probably be some kind of a mental health defense element to it. However, I haven't seen enough of the evidence, and I kind of counsel people always, let's not prejudge until we see how the evidence unfolds. I just don't know. I don't know. I can think of various other scenarios, maybe because the one that's alleged by the prosecution is so horrible, I don't want to even accept that it's possible. So I understand that, but I would just counsel, let's wait and see what the evidence looks like.
Do you think the insanity plea would be the way to go in this case?
Well, one of the things you have to do as a defense lawyer when you get a case like this is you have to first assess your client's mental stability. I mean, there are all kinds of red flags, if you will, about this client's mental health or potential mental health. That's number one. But number two, at the same time, you got to walk and chew gum at the same time. You need to analyze what the police and prosecution have developed. Where are their facts? How did they tie this woman to the crime itself, not just the abduction or purported abduction, which may not even be an abduction if there's no custody order that was violated. Transportation, yes. But the problem is who caused her death, when was her death, and what was the means. And so that's what it's going to come down to first. Before they ever get to a mental health determination, a lawyer is going to have to evaluate the facts of whether or not the prosecution can actually make their case.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.